Hey, this is Skylar. This is my PowerPoint presentation on two-point perspective. Oh, come on, click. So the content standards, it would be students would use perspective and then original artwork to create a real scene or imaginary. They will be applying the rules of two-point perspective and creating, not cremating, a thematic work of art, and they will be selecting and applying varied and precise vocabulary and other language resources to effectively convey their ideas. And we'll talk more about vocabulary later. So, hook. Where will you visit will be the title. Students will create a two-point perspective drawing that represents places they look forward to visiting again after the COVID-19 pandemic is finally over with. So for me, for example, to kind of start off with, I would go to an art supply store or Barnes and Nobles, you name it. Okay, so lesson content. Students will be provided with academic vocabulary such as vanishing point, line, space, proportion, and value. We will go over perspective again. So hopefully we had gone over 1-point perspective, but if we didn't, it's not a big issue. So worm's eye view, street eye, or eye level, and worm's eye view, or bird's eye view, sorry. And then the vanishing points, we would have 2 instead of 1, so 2-point perspective. And then also, hopefully they'd be familiar with value, and they could implement that within this project as well because of our still life projects. And then at the end of this activity for the day, so we go over vocabulary and try to work on this activity, but if we don't finish, it's totally cool. I would like to at least have an exit ticket of 2 places that they look forward to visiting before the session expires or ends. But then later on as a group, we would brainstorm different ideas. And then in the future, I kind of just added this on for the heck of it. I would like to also break down with different scaffolding activities. So like creating a M form with 2-point perspective, and then eventually creating little miniature examples of what this would actually look like in the final piece. Sort of a rough idea, but yeah. And then this right here is just kind of a side note, extra resource that I could provide for students need be if in case my explanation doesn't work well for them, or maybe I can, also provide, of course, YouTube videos that show different examples as well, because there's a lot of resources. So yeah, there's different maybe cake bakery ideas. I want at least 7 to 8 buildings shown. And then, yeah, using that light source and casting shadow. And then the little activity here, I would have students use their Kahoot app on the phones. We would use a code. Ignore this code because I actually had to restart it again. And then I would have them fill out their names and respond to the best of their ability because it's not that big of a deal with points. This is just a little starter off with 1 and 2-point perspective with MC Escher. Let me get it over here. Oh, oh no. Let me add. Okay. So here are my questions. Just to kind of give you a rough idea. I have 9 of them. So here's 2-point perspective. This looks different than what they're used to, which is 1-point perspective. They would most likely use the bedrooms or the interior for 1-point perspective. So this looks a little bit different. So we're going to go with that guy. And they're going to try their wild guess here. Hopefully they assume. Because why would... Okay. And then this, they don't have to worry about at all. It's just a statement, not really a question. Making sure they got it. So there's one vanishing point. This looks a little bit peculiar, right? Because there's that angle, two angles, two vanishing points. So from MC Escher. So 1 point perspective, one vanishing point. Hopefully this is kind of silly and a no-brainer. And then, yeah, my little Xing question. Hopefully they got it. If there's any confusion, I would at least be able to point out what students need for their assistance. And yeah, if they have questions about MC Escher or want to know more about him, I would love to know that as well. So yeah. And that's the end of my presentation. Thanks, guys.